Previously, by which I mean yesterday, as we're playing lots and lots of D&D this weekend for Halloween, our group found themselves captured and locked in a magical cage. Once Adria and Kess had surrendered, Gear, aka the rich asshole who'd been kidnapping people so that even richer assholes could hunt them for sport, disabled the force cage around the others, and all of them were moved into the larger cage holding Vadrin and the other prisoners. Over the next few hours, the group discussed their options, or lack thereof. Several of the magic users pieced together that Gear had probably cast the spell for the magical cage over and over again, enough times to make it more permanent. Eversong did a tarot reading to see what the cards had to say, and between them and Tyr contacting some type of entity or beings? We don't know about that, so it doesn't matter, but still, what the fuck? It became clear that the group had to work together and not separate if they wanted to have a chance of escaping. Eversong spoke with Iker, the satyr in the cage with them, and she provided more information about how things went. Jenny, the rabbit folk, had been there the longest, and she had clearly given up all hope of ever getting free. Iker was close to that point, but not there yet, as she'd only been in the cage a few months compared to a year. She explained that there had been other prisoners who'd been freed to be hunted, and then they never returned. When it was time for someone to be released, the others would be restrained. Gear dropped the cage for a minute, just long enough for whoever wasn't restrained to flee, and then it would immediately go back up. Tyr was limited in the spells he could cast due to his spellbook being taken. Eversong ended up using Detect Magic to look around the camp. She was able to determine that the items taken from them were probably put in a nearby tent, as she picked up several magical pings from it. August pulled one of the guards aside to ask them questions. The halfling that he spoke with confirmed that no one had ever survived the hunt, and there were no plans of letting anyone do so, since that's not what their rich clients were paying for. She also had no idea why the forest name had shifted from the Great Forest to the Silent Forest. Eventually, everyone settled down to sleep for the night. The next morning, a little before dawn, Adria and Valen jerked awake to find everyone else wrapped in vines while they were still free inside the cage. August and Kess woke up as well, albeit in a much more tied-up state, but everyone else stayed asleep. Gear was standing just outside the cage. He told the wolves that someone had paid handsomely to hunt the two of them, snapped his fingers, and the cage disappeared at the same time he did. The group quickly began to work together to free everyone from the vines, some in smarter and more effective ways than others. All of them woke up except for Isaac, whose player had totally fallen asleep during the hour-long break that we took, so he was the last to be freed since he wasn't awake to help free himself. Working together, all of the PCs and NPCs were able to get free of the vines and move out of the cage before it went up. They were also able to give Jenny, the rabbit folk, a magical stone that had been given to them, which allowed her to teleport to safety. Iker had a brief moment of panic and tried to stay behind, but Eversong and Adria were able to yank her out of the cage before the walls reappeared. Eversong talked her down from her panic attack and convinced her to stay with the group. Around that time, once everyone was free, Isaac's player showed up, so Kess was suddenly able to realize just what had kept him in such a deep sleep and wake him up. It's so odd how that timing worked. Shocking, even. Anyway, August gathered everyone's weapons from the tent, and Tyr found a coded ledger inside with what a group assumed was probably information about the rich clients that their captors had mentioned repeatedly. After taking everything they needed, the group set the various tents on fire, split into 3 smaller groups, and prepared to set out into the forest, making certain to stay within sight of each other, but not stay clumped together. And that is where we left off.